Today we're starting on the Firebird. This is the 71 Firebird we picked up out of a garage up in New Jersey. Near as we can tell, it had been sitting for 20 plus years, maybe longer. It was a project that a guy had started and unfortunately never was able to finish. Hello all, welcome to Maverick Mods. My name is Mark. I'm trying to save abandoned projects, keep the survivors on the road, and do some cool hot rodding. So without further ado, let's get started.
Here is the fun.
The standard car in the garage being used as a storage shed. Looks like we're going to have to do a little bit of cleaning first. First thing I have to do, since we wound up getting so many just various parts and pieces in bins and in crates and everything that was scattered all over the garage up there, since we wound up just as quickly as we could trying to get as much of the car as close to one piece and what we could fit in the back of the pickup and in the trailer, everything is just jammed everywhere. Alright guys, finishing up for the day. I had about 2/3 of it unpacked. I'm not even going to try and identify any parts. There's one table full. There's enough valve covers for 4 or 5 motors at least, and that's only some of them. There's a radiator and condenser. Of course, we've got original and replacement body panels. a big pile of tools that I just added to my stack. I got to sort that and organize that later. Got some books. I haven't even unpacked the trunk yet. There's all kinds of stuff in the trunk yet. But he's got assembly manuals, service manuals, so that helps a little bit. None of what's in here is actually, except where it says exhaust parts, is labeled. There's enough exhaust pieces and parts to re-exhaust about 8 cars, I think. We've got a whole lot of Pontiac gauges here. And there's another one here. And there's one in the car. So that ought to be fun trying to figure that out. There's various engine parts. We found most of everything we need to put the heads together. I believe that's a stock cam, pretty well worn. Big pile of just various parts and boxes. Most of them are new, a few of them are old. Tons of gaskets. And I ran out of any other place, so I just filled the bed of the pickup with everything else. This is body parts, a couple of spare carburetor. I think we got 4 quadrajets. Just a whole bunch of stuff here. And this pretty much wears me out for today, so I'm gonna sign off and hit it again tomorrow. There's a lot of duplicate parts, some random parts, some parts that even came off of this car. Nonetheless, they still all need to be stored because we're not going to get rid of anything until the build is done, just in case. So I'm going to use my patented disorganizational method for organizing all of these parts. As you may have noticed, I haven't even started disassembling the car yet. So storing the pieces that actually come off the car, well, that's a hurdle that I'll have to figure out as the time comes. I'm not sure if there's a rule of thumb as to how much more space all the parts to a car take if you take the car apart, but I'm sure that I'm going to run out of space before it's all said and done. So it might get kind of interesting just trying to figure out where to put all the parts and pieces that I actually take off the car. Stay tuned for that. That wraps up this episode on the Firebird. Next up, we're going to take a deep dive into just what condition the body's in. Take a look at the body chassis, look for rust, look for any kind of rot, any signs of damage. We'll take a look at our parts and just kind of get an idea of what we've got to work with here. Really do appreciate you following along. If you like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button. Maybe give me a like if you like what you saw. Maybe share the video. It really would help out. At the end of the day, no matter how hard your day was, sit back and enjoy the sunset.